Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anukriti Agrawal, and today we are going to discuss about ocular viscoelastic devices. Ocular viscoelastic devices or viscoelastic agents are transparent gel-like substances having viscous and elastic properties. They have become almost a necessity in many ophthalmological procedures today. In 1972, Dr. Belazes coined the term viscosurgery. Viscosurgery is used to designate the procedures and manipulation performed with viscoelastics. The aim of these agents are as follows. First, prevention of tissue damage. Second, provide a wider space for manipulation during surgery. And third is to avoid adhesion post-operatively. Mm. Please can you tell me how to do a slideshow? Thank you. Hmm. Now, it is essential to discuss four important rheological properties related to OVDs. These are elasticity, viscosity, pseudoplasticity, and surface tension. Now, elasticity. As we all have studied in our school, elasticity is the ability of a solution to return to its original shape after being stressed. This property allows anterior chamber to reform after the deformation on the cornea when external force is released. Viscosity is resistance to flow. This is determined by molecular weight of substance, and this property denotes protective and lubricant action of OVD. Pseudoplasticity. This is the ability of a solution to transform under pressure from a gel-like substance to more a liquid substance. This enables easy injection and removal of agent at increasing flow rate. And the last property is surface tension, which determines the coating ability of an OVD. Lower the surface tension, better the ability to spread and coat the surface. Now, a desired ideal viscoelastic should possess few properties, of which first is it should be optically clear. It should have ease of infusion and removal, should not interfere with instruments or IOL plus placement, should protect our endothelium. As you know, we are born with around 3500 endothelium cell per square mm, and by the time we become adults we are only with 2400 endothelial cells, and they are still progressing, still we are losing them, so it is important to protect them. Viscoelastic should act as lubricant, should maintain a proper space during surgery. They should be clinically inert, isosmotic, non-antigenic, non-toxic, free from any particulate matter, and should not obstruct the aqueous flow. These are classified in three categories: visco-cohesive, visco-dispersive, and visco-adaptive. Now, visco-cohesive and dispersive. Visco-cohesive have high viscosity, surface tension, and molecular weight. Due to these three properties, they adhere to themselves better and resist breaking apart, helps to create space and pressure during surgery. Whereas, in contrast to this, visco-dispersive, they have low viscosity, surface tension, and molecular weight. So they adhere well to external surface and tends to break apart easily. This property allows an excellent coating to endothelium. Indication for cohesives. We use them during capsulorhexis to deepen the AC, insertion of intraocular lens, and enlargement of small pupil in special cases like floppy iris syndrome. Indication for dispersive during emulsification of nucleus and removal of cortex. Uh, Examples for cohesive is Healon GV, and for dispersive it is Viscoat and OcuCoat. That's a small video. We are going to differentiate between the properties of visco-cohesive to visco-dispersive. So I just tell you verbally. No ma'am, I'm click on this play option, but it is not working. Huh. So I just explain you verbally. Like first we are adding, like in that video we were first adding this cohesive, which appears quite like this. So it just stuck up on cornea. It does not spread easily and not coats the cornea. It just create a pressure and then uh, deepens the anterior chamber. Whereas you can see visco-dispersive, it is spreading and laying out over the surface, so it provides protection to the cornea and endothelial cells. Now, when we combine both these low viscosity dispersive and high viscosity cohesives together, we call this soft shell technique. This minimizes the drawback and get the best property out of both. You can see in this diagram over the iris and lens, we have first put the visco cohesive, which is orange color, to create a space and flatten the capsule, and over which we have spread the visco dispersive to protect the endothelial cells. In this technique we use in floppy iris syndrome, cases with broken Zanu's and high myopic eye. Third category was viscoadaptive. These are extremely cohesive viscoelastics, and their behavior changes at different flow rates. At low flow rate they are more viscous and cohesive. At high flow rate they are more pseudo dispersive. And the example is Helon 5. We have three preparation available with us for OVDs. First is sodium hyaluronate. It was the first OVD which we have used in our viscosurgery in back 1970s. It is a biopolymer found in connective tissue, including in aqueous and vitreous. Extremely viscoelastic and non-inflammatory, the best available viscoelastic substance. It is quite expensive, so less popular. Next is chondroitin sulfate. It is one of the major mucopolysaccharide present in cornea. Coats the tissue but poor space maintainer, so less viscous, and available as 1:3 mixture of 4% chondroitin sulfate and 3% sodium hyaluronate. HPMC, hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose. It is synthesized from methyl cellulose, a plant fiber. Uses lubricant because of coating and wetting capacity. Once injected, it shows some inflammatory reaction as it is a plant product and difficult to metabolize and remove from AC. The clinical uses. After introduction of these viscoelastics, they have created a big revolution in cataract surgery, as they are used in maintenance of anterior chamber, protection of corneal endothelium, in capsular axis, that is anterior capsulotomy, phacoemulsification of nucleus, coating and implantation of IOL, preventing the entry of blood and fluids in anterior chamber. Next use is in glaucoma surgeries for viscocanalostomy to open the Schlemm's canal by OVDs. Third use is in keratoplasty. Again the same use, protects the corneal endothelium and other intraocular structures, helps in even and circular trepanation. Next use is retinal detachment surgeries and repair of globe in perforating injuries. And side effects. If we do not remove these OVDs completely after the surgery, it can lead to some side effects like post-op increase in IOP, crystallization of lens, as they can deposit on the surface of lens and cause its crystallization, capsular block syndrome, that is accumulation of liquefied substance within a closed chamber inside capsular bag. The last one is pseudo anterior uveitis. Thank you.